If you could go back in time and you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, who would you rather vote for?
Obviously, Trump.
Okay, why so?
Everything from foreign policy to domestic policy. I mean, we can talk economics. We can talk whatever you want. I'm happy to debate whatever you want. He's right on everything, practically.
Oh, okay. So could you name an economic policy of Donald Trump's that he influenced to get passed that you like?
Yeah, well, just generally speaking, he's a capitalist, and your party, I'm assuming you're a Democrat, wants to go fully communist. Look in New York City, the mayoral race. So, do you support do you support Mamdani? Just so I understand your positions.
Oh, I like Mom Donnie for mayor, absolutely. Now, in terms of this,
Really?
yeah, in terms of this, what do you mean by fully communist? Can you define communism?
Yeah, it's controlled by the state of everything, the means of
No.
production, namely.
No.
Okay.
So
So
communism is not when the state controls everything. Communism is a stateless, classless,
really?
moneyless society. Yeah, I'm not a communist, but that's what communism is. So you actually don't understand communism in this context. If you're saying
Okay.
government
So
involvement is communism, well, then you're saying Donald Trump enforcing the border is also communism.
no, state control. We're talking economics. The border has
Yeah,
nothing
that's
to do with
that's that's an
economics.
effect on the yeah it does because there's free flow of labor between areas. So actually, libertarians will argue against you and say that that's actually a restriction on the free market because you're limiting the free flow of labor between areas. So that's
No,
actually yes a restriction on the free market.
okay, that's anarcho-capitalism to have no government at all. I'm not advocating for that.
Not
I'm
necessarily.
advocating.
You could be a
Oh,
minarchist and hold that view.
okay, so what about Mamdani's economic policy do you like?
Why are we talking about Mamdani instead of talking about Donald Trump and why you support him?
Oh,
You
all
just
right,
said that
you want to talk
Democrats
about
in
Donald Trump?
general. Hold up, I want you to
Okay,
justify the claim that
so
Democrats in
let me
general
ask you.
are quote unquote fully communist.
Well, because that is their candidate. But anyway, we'll talk about Donald
What?
Trump. So
Wait, I'm sorry.
you
Mamdani is
want to
not
talk
the
about Donald Trump?
Democratic
Let's talk about
nominee.
Trump.
Mamdani's not the
He
Democratic nominee.
he is in the New York City
What? Well, and yeah,
mayoral
that's not for
race.
the national level.
Okay, well,
We were
New
talking
York
about for
City is a pretty
Democrats as
big
a
place.
whole.
Okay,
And
that's
also,
fine. We'll
even
see who
then,
the
I don't think
nominee
he's
is in
even
28.
stated that he's a communist in particular. He said
All
he's
right,
a
let's talk
democratic
about Trump. So
socialist.
I'm assuming you disagree with his deployment of the National Guard in various
Why are we
cities. I'm assuming.
pivoting? Why are we pivoting? We were just talking about
No, you said
economics.
you wanted to talk about
Wait,
Donald Trump.
we were
Now you
talking
want
about
to.
yes, we were talking about Donald Trump's economic policy. I asked you for a single economic policy Donald Trump influenced to get passed, and you didn't tell me a single policy. You just said the Democrats were fully communist. So first of all, tell me the specific policy that Donald Trump influenced to get passed that you like, and then secondly, define and go through the context of how you think that most Democrats are communists.
Donald Trump passed the largest tax cuts in his first term uh, in many years. I can't give you the precise number of years it's been, but he's known for cutting taxes. So that's an example because I believe that it trickles down to when you cut taxes for the upper class for the 1%, those are the business owners who are paying the people in the middle class. And so that trickles down. So when the Democrats say that these Trump tax cuts for billionaires are so bad, actually, it's advantaging everybody. Would you disagree with that?
No, because they only have an incentive to pass down the money that they make specifically to their employees if it gives them any type of profit in the long run. So actually, they don't really have an incentive to reinvest. And having a higher top marginal tax rate for the highest levels of income would actually incentivize them to reinvest in their firms. Because if they didn't specifically take it out as income, they would take they could reinvest it in their firm and they'd save whatever their top marginal tax rate is. So actually, having a higher top marginal tax rate is more beneficial for reinvestments into the firms.
Perfect.
All right. And then secondly, in terms of this, Donald Trump's just replacing a certain tax with another tax. He's replacing income tax with tariffs. And you might like that because it's shifting the burden of taxation from those that are disproportionately rich to those that are disproportionately lower income because you, for some reason, think that's going to be like some trickle down nonsense, which is not true. There's no evidence that trickle down has specifically led to higher wages in the long run. If we actually look at the implementation of trickle down, we've seen wages stop increasing with productivity, whereas prior they did increase with productivity. And I would say the
Wait a minute.
main thing that
I want to go
causes
back to something
an
you just
increase in
said. Did you just
wages
say that?
is an increase in productivity. So
Did you just
generally
say that
speaking,
Trump raised taxes on poor people or on
yes,
middle class people?
yes,
When did that occur?
the
Please
tariffs.
enlighten me.
The
The
tariffs
tariffs.
are regressive. Yes, they have a regressive
So
negative impact on lower
tariffs
and middle
are
income individuals because they spend a greater proportion of their income on consumer goods.
Sir, tariffs are go on international entities. I'm not sure what you're talking about. He imposed tariffs on people in the United States.
Wait, what is a
Explain.
tariff?
A tariff is something imposed on the importment or exporting of goods from other countries. It has nothing to do with
It's a tax on
individuals.
imported goods. It does have to do with individuals. Now, can you answer this question? Who pays that tax?
The country subject to the tariff, naturally. I mean, it has nothing to do with people. So I'm not sure what you're talking about. That
Who pays that?
middle class,
Who pays the tax?
the government of the foreign entity subject to the tariff. Once again,
No. The tariff is paid by the
really.
American company importing the product, and it's passed down to the consumer because it's an aspect of cost of production and distribution. Who taught you that it was paid by the
Well,
foreign country?
then we
Wait, no, seriously,
that
answer this question.
that's
Who taught you that it was paid by the foreign country?
that's the way it works. It's paid by the foreign
No,
country
it's
because
not. No, it's not. Tell me who told you that?
well, no, it's not paid directly. They're not writing a check, but the result of tariffs are less purchasing by
Answer this
Americans of.
question. Who told you that the tariff is paid by the foreign country?
Nobody told me, but that's the case,
So you
and I'm
just came up with
explaining how. If
this?
you let me explain
You
how,
just
I
came
will
up with
explain
it?
how. No,
Go
I will
ahead.
explain to you how that works.
Go ahead.
The point of a tariff, yeah, obviously they're not writing a check. If you misinterpreted what I. The way it works is people will stop buying in international goods, and so therefore the country is indirectly paying. It hurts their economies. The Iran sanctions, tariffs, that destroyed their oil production. That was an indirect way of getting them to pay. It
Did you
wasn't a
see how he
direct.
literally just moved the goalpost because he realized he
It's
was
not. It's
wrong?
the same thing with the
By the way,
Mexico border.
in
When
this
he said
context,
Mexico would
there's
pay
no
for the border.
indirect. By the way, when you mean indirect pay there, you mean they'll try to eat some of the costs associated with it, but that doesn't mean it's paid by them. It's still paid by the American company that's importing the product,
Okay, so
right?
you think tariffs are ineffectual and don't do anything? That's your position then.
I think universalized tariffs that Trump has implemented cause inflation, make the labor market worse off. They decrease like respect and trade with our country. They also decrease trade relations in the long run, especially with our allies. I think they're really harmful. They get like other
We're
countries to
talking about
boycott our
inflation.
products and place retaliatory tariffs on us, which
I
harms our
wouldn't go
industry
there.
and
You mentioned
exportation.
inflation. I
What's
wouldn't
that?
go there because the previous administration has the worst record on inflation, and
Well,
I'm
they
assuming you
didn't. They
supported
didn't.
them.
They didn't cause inflation. That was global inflation that happened around the entire world because of the pandemic and supply chain issues. So explain to me how you think that was caused by the Biden-Harris administration.
Yes, that had to do with oil production. They stopped a lot of oil production. They drained our reserves of oil, and that's what caused a lot of it. That's why gas prices were $9 in California at one point. Obviously, you don't understand how oil production works and how that affects economies. Do you? Do
Really,
you
because
understand how that works?
yes, I do. Because according to the Energy Information Administration, we had the largest level of oil production of any country in the history of the world, including comparing to Trump's administration under the
So
Biden-Harris
you deny
administration.
that Biden drained our
It was
oil
actually
reserves? You deny that?
it was actually because of a reduction in the imports of oil, particularly because Donald Trump signed an agreement with OPEC to cut oil production, along with the fact that we were getting less Russian oil because of the Russia-Ukraine war.
You're talking about Trump again, though. So you deny that Biden drained our oil reserves and caused gas prices to skyrocket.
Oil reserves being diminished and reduced was specifically to reduce the prices that were already high and put like
Precisely,
a
which you
yeah.
caused.
So it wasn't because of the fact that we released oil reserves that caused the price to go up. That's a ridiculous assertion. The
COVID
reason why the
began under the
price went
Trump.
up is because of OPEC limiting their production because of a Trump signing off an agreement with them, and then specifically the not only that but also the Russia-Ukraine war, which would have happened regardless. So this argument that you're making that specifically
All right,
the Democrats reduced oil production is false.
all right.
The Energy
Enough on
Information
economics then.
Administration. The Energy Information Administration proves you wrong, and now you're going to pivot because you just realize that it's
No,
destroyed
I
every
don't want to
single
pivot.
point
I
you
don't want to
made.
bore the audience on economics.
You're not
I
boring the
think you have a
audience. We
position
talk
about
about economics all the time here.
What is your position regarding Trump's deployment of the National Guard?
We'll talk
I
about that
want
in
to
a
hear.
second. Please finish with what we were talking about.
Okay, so what do you want me to respond? We have a disagreement. There's not going to be any clarity here.
What do you mean? What's our disagreement on? There was the highest level of
You
oil production of any country ever under the Biden-Harris administration for that time, right?
Yet
And it is the case
magically
that
the
the
price of the
Biden-Harris
gas.
administration did not cause the price increase in specifically gas, right?
Okay,
Along with
okay.
oils, I mean, along with the
Do you
price as a
admit or
whole.
deny that gas prices currently are less than what they were under the Biden administration?
Actually, gas prices right now are higher on average in this country than when Biden
Okay,
left
that
office.
is patently false.
You want to bet?
So I will bet my life. Yes,
How
that
much? How
is
much? Give me an
categor-
actual number.
of how much you want to bet.
Yeah.
No, I'm certain of it. And you can
You're
pull up. I don't
wrong.
know what
You're
kind
literally
of.
wrong. Look up
Okay, what's
EIA
your
gas
source? What's your
prices.
source?
Energy Information Administration.
Okay, so what are the numbers? Tell me, please. Tell all of us.
Yes, I got you. It was 307 when Biden left office,
No, oh
right?
no,
And
no.
it was
What we
and
do, we
it's
do the mean.
currently 316
Oh,
here in September.
yeah. That's not how you do it. You do the what was the mean over his 4 year term, and what
No,
was the
that no.
mean?
I said I made the claim that since Trump got in office, it's gone up in price. When Biden was in office, it was a lower price than what it is now, right? And then now you're making the claim about the average. Wow,
Well,
why do you keep
so,
moving the goalpost? I agree
well,
that the
how about
average
that?
price
The
would be
goal,
higher, but that
what
has
was
to do
gas
with the
prices?
Russia-Ukraine situation. That has to do with OPEC cutting oil production because of Trump's agreement. So I'm pointing to at the end of the Biden administration, there was a lower gas price than what there currently is right now.
But even so, at the end of the Biden administration, Trump had already been president-elect for 2.5 months and had been working behind the scenes. So I don't go by that. You go by, okay, fine, go by what it was before the election.
Why do you have to put all these addendums on? I'm talking about what it was when Biden left office. You can't say that Trump was
Because it's
reducing
misleading
the.
data.
You said
It's
that Trump
completely
was. You
misleading
said that
data.
Trump was reducing the price while he wasn't in office.
Yeah, yeah. Well, clearly he was. If you're saying
Really,
that
really.
for the bulk of the Biden administration, gas was enormously high. If you deny that, then we're in two
Okay. Well,
different. We're
well,
living
I
in
want
two
to let
different
you know.
realities.
I want to let you know. In November and October of last year, right, it was lower, right, than what it is right now on average. Did you know that? In October and November of last year, prior to the election, it was lower than what it is right now. Did you know that? So the
Well,
point
I
that you're
doubt
making,
that. I
even though
doubt
it's a
that. Again,
moving the
I don't know
goalpost,
what kind of
still proves
phantom
you
data
wrong. It
you're
still proves you
relying
wrong.
on. I don't know what kind of phantom data or sources you're relying
Phantom
on that you're
data,
not.
the Energy Information Administration? What do you mean by phantom data?
What is the Energy Administration? What is
It's
that?
from
I've
the
never. Is that
government. It's the
that's a
government
federal government.
source. Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Well, are you going to still accuse me of pivoting, or can we change the subject?
Well, how about you fully address the point that I just made? Acknowledge that you were wrong. Acknowledge that Trump specifically led to an increase in gas prices according to
No,
your
because
own
I
logic.
have a car, and I have during the 4 years of the Biden administration, I put up with the prices. I saw it personally. I experienced it
Wait,
personally.
but
So
wait, do
I
you
will
agree
not.
that you were wrong with the claim that you were making that it was higher at the end of the Biden administration comparative to now? And higher
Well,
prior to the
subject to
election
all of
comparative
these
to now?
qualifications, yeah, subject to all those qualifications, you were able to skew the data to the way you wanted. Sure,
What do
I'll
you mean
concede
skew
that.
the data? By the time Biden left, it was the case that the gas prices were already doing good and they've increased since Trump got in office. So the claim that Trump was going to decrease gas prices is obviously ridiculous. What happened to drill baby drill?
It's underway, but
Really,
he's
it's
only
not.
been, he
It's
hasn't been
really
in
not
office a
doing
year.
very much. The prices keep going up.
He's been in office how long? 8 months? Give the man time. But he did
Almost
it the
9 months.
first.
Give the man time.
Yeah. Do
Okay.
you do
How
you
much time
do
does
you
he need?
support? I believe a presidential term is 4 years. Give him 4 years.
Oh,
He
so
was
we have to
elected
wait.
this
We have
year.
to wait 4 years
No,
until we
three
can say
years
that.
now.
3 years until we see that. Okay, so if you have to wait the entire administration, well, then why didn't you wait the entire administration for Biden? It takes time for
No,
Biden to
you'll
address
start to
the
see.
concerns
You'll
caused
start
by
to
the
see
Trump
by midterm.
administration, right?
You'll
It
start
is
to
the
see
case
by
that
the
by the end
midterm.
of his administration, the prices were lower than what they currently are now.
So wait a minute. So what are you asserting here? That Trump is against drilling? Is that your position?
No,
Is
I'm
that what
saying
you're
that he's not
asserting?
upholding his, the things that he promised he was going to do, that lower gas prices and drill, baby, drill, I tell you.
So you think he's changed his position on drilling? All right. Not sure
I
why,
think
but
that he hasn't really done much for that, and yet you were claiming that that's something that he's done that's so great. And you said that the Biden-Harris administration caused inflation because they reduced oil production when oil production was the highest it ever was at any point in any administration ever, right at that time, under the Biden-Harris administration. Plus, we had an increase in renewable energy production in the United States because of the Inflation Reduction Act and the bipartisan infrastructure bill. And Donald Trump has gut those, right, actually reducing our level of domestic energy production in the United States.
okay. This conversation, I suspect, is boring most people. Why don't we change
I
it
have
to a
this
more
conversation
spicy
all the
topic?
time. It's clear that you know you're losing.
I won because you're using fake data and
Fake data from the Energy
we're
Information
using fake
Administration?
qualifications.
What fake data?
Well, you said on Biden's final day in office. That's the gas price you're going by. The average gas
I
price
did the last
gas price
month,
you're going
and
by.
I also did prior to the election in October and November, which is about a year
Okay.
ago. October is a year ago, right?
Okay, so then you want to, right? So you're picking again another arbitrary date to
From a
select.
year ago? You said prior to the election. You said because of the election, it was the case that Trump brought the gas prices down, but gas prices were literally cheaper, right, in
October
October
of
than what they are
24
now.
was the October of 24 was like 4 months before Biden left office. So again,
It was
it's
before the
really
election.
what was it in November or in October of 21? That's what I'd like to know. But anyway, again,
329.
okay, there you go. So now you have it higher
It's
than Trump's.
316 now. Wait, and
Right,
also
there
that's
you go.
2021. What's the point of going to 2021? If you want to do that, why don't we look at 2016 under Obama when it was lower than any point under Trump's admin?
Well, of course it was, because at that point there was no pandemic. I was pre-pandemic. Anything pre-pandemic is going to be a totally different
What?
set of.
Most of Trump's term was pre-pandemic.
No, we're talking about not now, not now.
I'm talking about his first term.
Okay, what was it in Trump's first term?
In first term, there were points lower in 2016 than any point under Trump's administration.
Well, sure, and I'm sure that's the case in the Bush administration. It was lower than Obama's. Of course, money's always inflating. But again, you want to keep this discussion on forever, or do you want to change the subject?
Okay, if you want to move off of this because you clearly see that you're losing on economics, is what we've had the conversation for I started my live 20 minutes ago. You've been on for 16 minutes. You can't have a 20-minute conversation about economics.
I can, but again, I don't think it's going anywhere. It's going in circles because we can't stipulate to a set of facts.
No,
So,
you have yet to give me an actual good policy of Donald Trump's. The one that you brought up was inflationary in terms of tariffs, right? And also you
yeah,
said that
because
most Dems are communist. I would love for you to substantiate that fact. You said that most Dems
I
are communist.
did.
What
I
makes you think
told
that?
you that the city of New York chose as its Democratic nominee a communist and an
He's not
outward.
he's a democratic socialist, and two, it actually shows a lot that you have to call him a
What's the
communist and you
difference?
can't call him a
Can you
socialist
wait,
anymore.
whoa, whoa, whoa? Can
Yeah,
you please?
so
Please
socialism
explain
is
the
when the
difference?
workers control the means of production, right? And communism is a stateless, classless, and moneyless society.
O- Okay, that's actually anarcho-capitalism. What you're describing,
What?
but
I did not describe
what?
anarcho-capitalism. What?
Yeah, a governmentless
A
society,
classless society is anarcho-capitalist?
one that has no
What?
government is. I want to. Okay, let's go back to what you said. It's
A
owned by
moneyless
the
society
worker.
is capitalist? How can a moneyless society in a stateless society be capitalist?
No,
Classless
anything
society is
that.
capitalist?
Well, what do you mean by classless? I don't even know you're using terms. What is that supposed to mean?
The working class and the capitalist class is typically the distinction in the context of a Marxian sense, right? Right? The working class being those in which
No,
provide their
no.
labor. Do you want me to explain or not?
Yeah, but I've never heard that distinction. Go ahead.
You've never heard about the distinction between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat?
I have. Now you're changing, but I've never heard the working class and the capitalist class. I've never
Yeah,
heard
the
that
capitalist
distinction.
class is the bourgeoisie, right? And the
Okay.
working class is the proletariat.
Yes, that's the distinction. That's typically the distinction. Now, how would the working class own the means of production?
Yeah, democratically. Like worker cooperatives is particularly an example I used to believe in as a socialist. When I was a democratic socialist, I was a market socialist. So I believed that, every single corporation, society, or every corporation business should be like cooperatively ran, like democratically. I don't believe that now. I don't believe in a
why did you
mandate,
abandon
but
that? And why did you abandon that?
well, because I think a social democracy achieves all the goals that I would want to through the context of a democratic socialist economy, where I don't think that we need to go to democratic socialism and we can just have social democracy and people can voluntarily decide to engage with cooperatives if they would like to because they've been built up to an extent in society in which is better for the people.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know what you mean by cooperatives. These must be socialist terms with which I'm not familiar
Democratically
with.
run companies. So you know how companies will have like a business owner?
Isn't that what
Essentially, if
stock
that
is?
what?
Isn't that what shareholders are in stock?
Not necessarily. Because the shareholders aren't necessarily the workers.
Okay, so you want the workers to be the
This is not my
people on the
position right now. I'm
board.
just telling you what it is.
Okay, but so you don't support Mamdani. Good. I just wanted to
I do
clarify that.
support Mamdani, right, for
Oh,
mayor
oh,
in New
so now
York.
you do support it. Okay.
Wait, you understand that you don't have to agree on every single economic position in order to agree with a candidate, right?
So what economic positions do you agree with then?
I think that Mamdani's economic position is more coherent than Trump's, by the way.
Yeah. And what aspects do you agree with it? Do you agree with? Because you just said you didn't.
Yeah, providing people access to healthcare and childcare and housing affordability and paid vacation leave and maternity and paternity leave, right? And unemployment insurance and, affordable rent, better transportation and public transportation, addressing
Affordable
climate
rent. That's a
change.
great example. So let's take that. So how does a mayor reduce rent costs?
Why are we having a
Please explain
conversation
it.
about mayors when we're having a conversation about the national election with Trump? What is this conversation?
Okay, so now you're fine. We go back to Trump, but again, you want to just stick on
Wait, I like how you
economics.
want to talk about economics when talking about Mamdani, but you don't want to talk about economics in relation to Donald Trump and his economic policies. You also don't want to explain how you think most Democrats are fully communist. Again, Mamdani's not a communist, and most Democrats are not Mamdani's position.
So you don't think that the leaders of the Democratic Party, Bernie Sanders,
Bernie
AOC, those
Sanders is not
people,
the leader of the Democratic Party.
who
What are you
is
talking
then?
about?
Who, in your opinion, is the leader of the
Right
Democratic
now,
Party
it's
today?
corporate Democrats that are currently, quote unquote, leading the
Corporate
party.
Democrat.
Yes.
Who would you like to be the leader of the
I would like
Democratic Party?
progressives. I would like more progressives to be up there in the matter, like AOC.
Namely,
I like AOC. I
like
like
AOC.
James
Okay.
Tallarico.
It per- okay. Well, is that I've never heard of that person. You said AOC. That's a perfect example. So you'd like her to be the nominee in 28 for
Yes,
president?
absolutely.
Wow.
What's
Okay.
crazy about that?
Everything. I mean, that is. I guess you want to see the government of the United States fall.
No, I don't. Says the one who supports a guy who called for complete and total shutdown of the complete and total termination of the Constitution, right? You understand that, right?
When
We can
did
point to
when
that.
did Trump call for that?
Yeah, he called for a termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. He also incited a violent insurrection of the Capitol and pardoned violent rioters, police officers on January 6th, and he called them
Okay.
patriots. So explain to me how you think that we are extremists for wanting people to have access to healthcare, childcare, housing affordability, college, right, and social mobility, but it's not extreme for you to literally support a traitor like Trump.
There's a lot there, but I will. First of all, on the insurrection point, there was no insurrection because Trump was the president. You can't insurrect against yourself. That's number one. But number two, the only people who died on January 6th were Trump supporters. No policemen were. Okay, you know the story of Ashley Babbitt. Say her name.
Like,
She
before we
was
go into this,
unarmed.
can I just address this real quick? Just real quick. They were trying to protest and violently go against the determination of the election that Trump lost. That is absolutely a violent insurrection because they are trying to pause the certification of the election results.